welcome to another weekly update. There's the button, there it is. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good week last week. I hope you managed to get some build sessions in. If you didn't, don't worry, because I think all of the big announcements from build will come out again and again over the next couple of weeks, as Microsoft kind of want to make sure that you're getting that information and you haven't missed any of it. So don't worry too much if you missed the build sessions. We'll cover all the main things here as well. Anyway, this week, the week just gone, was a chance for some other things to kind of surface and shine. So that's been good. So we can talk through those now. And the first of those is an interview that I did in the week of build, actually. No, the week just before build, I think we actually did it. It was an interview with Gary and Waldeck, all about the Dev Proxy. Now, I've talked about the Dev Proxy a couple of times already, because they are quite forward with their releases. They quite often release on a fairly regular cadence, and that's what brought my attention to it, because it kept popping up in the news cycle again and again. And then when I looked into it, it's a really great tool. And this was a chance really to sit down with two of the core developers on the team that build it, two of the really kind of driving minds, and people that have been there from since the very start of what Dev Proxy is. So it was a chance. It was 30-minute interview. So it was a real good opportunity to sit down with them and go through just things like, where the Dev Proxy came from, why it was built, how it was built, what the purpose it serves, where they think it's going, how you can use it, and all these different things. Was really, really good to sit down and speak to them about it. So I've written it up as well, in sort of just parts, but really you kind of want to go and watch the video. Like I say, it's only 30 minutes long. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, I will release the video this week, the interview this week on the podcast, so you'll get that just in the regular feed in amongst all of the weekly updates. That's the thing I used to do a while ago, and I kind of want to get back to doing. So if you only listen to the podcast version of this, don't worry, you will still get that interview. You'll just get it not on a Monday, you'll get it in the week sometime as like an extra. So make space for that in your life. All right, so that's worth looking at, that interview video that I did. You can find it on my YouTube channel, or if you go to the blog post that's in that description of this video, then you'll be able to find it. Okay, big news from elsewhere that's not Copilot and not Dev Proxy, and that's the news that Microsoft is doing some interesting things with its contact center offering. So this has come out of the Dynamics team. And basically, for a while now, Microsoft have had what they call a digital contact center solution, which is built around Dynamics and the capabilities that Dynamics has in their customer service or customer experience, I think it's called. Customer service, Dynamics 365 customer service, which is like an omni-channel experience for contact center operations. And that's been there for a while. The big thing that's changed, though, is Microsoft are now going to release that as a separate SKU that's not tied to the Dynamics CRM. So that means that you can have a Microsoft first-party omni-channel contact center solution, but bring your own CRM. And I think really that's happened because Microsoft have listened to feedback that says, we really like your solution. It's great. It's brilliant that it's Microsoft first-party. That's what we're looking for. But our CRM is not Dynamics. We use Salesforce, we use ServiceNow, we use something else, and we're just not ready to move our contact center and our CRM over to Microsoft in one go. That's just too much. It's too much of a move. And so, I think this is Microsoft responding to that by splitting those things apart and saying, okay, go with the contact center first, and then if you want later, bring the CRM along for the ride. So that's what's been announced. It's coming soon. I think July 1st is when it's coming. It's going to have these capabilities in it. I think it's going to have these capabilities in it. There's not a load of detail about it at the moment, but currently this is what's in Dynamics 365 customer service, so it's fair to kind of assume that's what's happening. I had a couple of thoughts at the end. I think this is a really good idea, first of all. I think this is great that they split them apart because it gives people choice, and I think it will widen the appeal for the Microsoft 365 based, this kind of contact center that's Microsoft owned. I do have an issue with the name. I think calling it the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Contact Center is a mistake because I think it ties it still too closely to Dynamics, the CRM. And I think in people's heads, it's still going to need Dynamics, even though that isn't the case now. And that's the whole point of this change, is that it isn't the case. but the naming makes it sound like it is the case. And then the only other concern or thought I had is around pricing, because this is only going to succeed if it's attractive pricing. Like all those things, I think it'd be really interesting to see them do fully consumptive pricing, because then this could compete head to head with something like Amazon Connect. But if they don't do that, I think it's going to be more competing with the kind of more established vendors in this space that do per seat licensing. So I think there's definitely some options there on the table for Microsoft about how they license it. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what they choose to do there. All right, next up is a blog post from the Dev Blogs, the Microsoft 365 platform Dev Blogs team. And this one is called Build Intelligent Apps for Microsoft 365 with Teams Toolkit. And this is really this kind of harks back to what I was saying about if you didn't go to all the build sessions, don't worry, because Microsoft will kind of bring this information back to you again and again to make sure you've really understood it. And this is one of those blog posts, I think. So this is talking about the Teams Toolkit and things that you can do in the Teams Toolkit, focusing specifically on building an AI chatbot. Now, this is the rename for what used to be the Teams AI library. So this is what they're talking about. And they're talking about this, with this latest version, developers can seamlessly build custom copilots starting from pre-built templates that integrate with Azure AI Search, Teams AI Library, and more. So new kind of how to sort of getting started library guides or templates or scaffolding or whatever you want to call it, for basic AI chatbots, AI agent chatbots, and chat with your data. So a couple of different options there. Really nothing new. It's just this was the stuff that was announced at Build coming out in a different format. So if you prefer to consume the information like this, there's a blog post that kind of goes through it and gives you the options. It also talks a little bit about how it can work with CI/CD pipelines, how you could containerize your solution if you want. And then there's a call, as always in these blog posts, for feedback. And I think take the feedback thing seriously. Give it a go. Give it a try. If there's stuff in there you think is missing, because all this stuff is so new. 2 years ago, none of this stuff existed. So it's all so new that actually this is a good time to be feeding back information. If you find stuff that isn't there and you think it should be there, please don't assume that you're doing something wrong or thinking about it differently or holding it wrong or whatever. And that's the reason you're not seeing these things. It might just be those things aren't there yet. And Microsoft need that feedback to say, hey, I'm trying to do this thing and it doesn't work. What's going on? All right, a couple more things really quickly. This one is talking about Microsoft Recall and the issues with it from a kind of CIO perspective. Really good blog post by the Directions on Microsoft team. I'm going to cover it very, very quickly, mostly because I think current news cycle items have kind of overtaken this, and Microsoft are now changing some of the stances on this. But it's a very interesting read anyway, because it lays out the reasons for some of the kind of blowback that Microsoft have been getting. So for that respect, I think it's really useful, and I think a lot of the reasons still hold. I just don't know why this happened this way. I feel like it was fairly obvious that the blowback was coming. So I don't know. But anyway, it's a good blog post. You should read it. And then finally, this one is really of interest if you can get yourself to the Microsoft headquarters, the campus in Redmond, and you can do so in August this year, because if you can do both of those things, you can take part in Visual Studio Live, which looks awesome. It looks like a couple of days in the sun, 4 days, all to do with Visual Studio, GitHub Copilot, Azure. You can have a great time if you can make it there. Looks like it's free. Looks fantastic. You're going to have a lot of fun if you can get there as a developer. So put that on your calendar if you're able to. All right, everything from me, I think. Going to try and finish on time. Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing, and I'll speak to you again next time.